All right, all right. So I think we are all connected here, and hopefully everyone can see me and hear me. And this is our live stream for tonight. It is just after midnight now, um, here on the East Coast, and I'm going to be working on an animation um, that I've been working on for a couple nights, and had actually been away from it for about a month, just busy with life and other projects. How I figured I would start this out is I would we'll play what we have here so that you can see its current status. I'll play the full sequence, and we'll watch this a couple times, and then I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to start animating. And if you have any questions during the process, please feel free to ask them in the live chat. And if you're watching um, hello, if you're watching in the what's it called, replay, then feel free to also just jump right over and leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll respond to you after the fact. Okay, so here's our shot. All that talking done with. This is using audio from the Ghostbusters movie. This is the reboot from 2016, and we have our two characters. So we have our guy and our girl. I'm going to be referring to the guy as Jules and the girl as Aya. That's the name of the rigs for them. And I sort of set them up like it's a blind date or something, and they're just getting to know one another. So you'll be hearing this. So I'll play it off the computer speakers, and you'll be hearing it on just the camera mic that's picking me up. But I think you'll get the idea. Animation right now is still in a what I would call as a blocking plus phase. It has all the main poses are in there, and now I'm starting to add in-betweens and breakdowns and begin the process of the first rough polish. Here it is.
Did the actor thing work
Just a
for?
minute. Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
All right, I'll play that again.
Did the actor thing work
Just a
for?
minute. Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
Okay, so as I said before, you can see that the animation is still relatively in an early phase here. I'm going to move off of this first shot in here, and I'm now working on her blocking for this middle section. In the last live stream, I worked on these hands, talked a lot about getting this arc, and in the reference footage, I did sort of a thing like this, so I'll probably build that in at some point. Tonight I'm just going to keep a fresh eye, look at sort of how her body is leading and driving the action. Her shoulders need some cleanup and so forth. If you hear some yowling and papers being rattled, that would be my cat in the background causing a commotion in an attempt to, I don't know, I really don't know, because she's been fed, she has water, she has access to her litter box. I think she's just trying to make me go crazy. All right, so this is our GUI picker. So I'll use this to select joints. This is the tween key, which is a helpful tool in animating, setting some keyframes roughly. Here's our timeline at the bottom, and these red marks are the keyframes. I'm going to turn Jules off. I'm going to turn his glasses off. And I'm going to jump out of this mode here. And I'm going to go into, this is our perspective window. And you'll see down here, this is reference footage that I shot initially. It's very rough. It's not totally in sync. It's just me sort of working out different poses and ideas. Okay, so this ends on frame 88. And we start on frame, 56. Okay. So let's, I'll step through some of these frames just so we can look at this again. Go to my camera here. Let's see, where does this next edit happen? 155. So this would be our full shot here of just this section of her. Going to jump back to my Aya character set. So a character set is just basically a big grouping that you can use to collect all of your keyframes, all of your controls together. All right. Great. And the cameras here, this is my 3D sort of perspective camera. This camera here is my render camera. That's why there's this little mat around the edge. You can see the widescreen ratio. Like I said, this is reference footage, and down here is my graph editor. And you'll see me jump into that from time to time, and certainly as I get into Polish, I'll be doing a lot more of that. All right. So let's jump in here. So I just want to look at these hands again, sort of think about this some more. I'm going to pull up my grease pencil tool. This is a super, super helpful tool. When I first started doing animation with animationmentor.com, which is, so I did the program there. I had previously studied animation in college, and then I went back to do further study with Animation Mentor, which I think is a really great program. If you want to learn more about that, just feel free to ask. All right, so I'm going to just sort of trace this shoulder here. Oops, let me create the frame. Okay. Make sure my grease pencil's turned on. That's why I'm not seeing it. All right, so let's delete that and start fresh. Basically, I want to look at where her shoulders are following in this. Change my color because now it's sort of a different section here. Okay, so you can see there's a handful of frames where she doesn't move, the shoulders don't move. So that's one of the things I'm going to want to address today. So I'm going to stay in this view. And I'm going to select her shoulders. Use the rotation control, which is huge for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on there. Okay. And right, let's go back to our beginning here. So select both of these. Should, I think, be able to get these to rotate together. So change it to a world axis. No, I guess not. All right, we'll do them one at a time then. So I'm going to pull them up a little bit in this first shot just so that it feels like the shoulder's what's driving the motion there. So this is a big movement here, right? So I'm going to leave this in here because this is sort of a nice big pose, and we would see her hopefully drive into this pose. I might pull her shoulders up a bit more to help indicate that's going to happen. Boom, boom. And then I want to give it some sort of like settle. So does she go a little bit more? You know, like, so that it feels like there's somewhere, it's not just locking. And you see, I took the shoulder, and I'll try to get in camera here. The shoulder came up, and then I moved it just forward a little bit so that it has a little bit of a circular motion happening. I'm just trying to carry that forward to the next frame. I'm trying to think about what I want to do here. I think I'm going to leave this for now because I don't have the rest of her keyed in after that. So I'm going to hold on that. All right, I'll go back to my first frame here. I'm going to clear this out now. And let's just see what her shoulder is doing. Clumsy. Okay. And let's see our next frame where we sort of landed before. She's there. So I'm just trying to see how this is moving through space. This might be the only sort of weird bit here because it's such a big jump, but alright, so let's do a quick little play blast on this. And then we can see sort of how that shoulder and arm is now tracking. So while we wait for this play blast to run, if anyone has any sort of quick questions, now's a great time to ask them. And yeah, I'm going to use this as a chance for me to get a sip of water. Okay, whoop, hello. Wrong window. All right, so here we are. So I'm going to set this to loop. I have the audio off. We'll just watch this for a moment. And so the hope is that now it feels like, besides just those hands moving, you can see the difference, I think, pretty clearly between what's happening on this screen left shoulder versus the screen right shoulder. You can see how it's definitely more pronounced and hopefully feels as if that shoulder is driving the motion of the arm versus the arm just sort of doing it on its own. And you can feel that there's an offset now between the body, the hands, and then the head. It should hopefully feel like they're all sort of, the body's driving the arms and shoulders, or the body's driving the shoulders, which is the arms, and then the head is sort of the last thing to sort of follow, and they're all a little offset. That's my hope here. If you're watching this and you think I'm crazy, or you think that's not happening, you like this is sucking, now's a great time to tell me. All right, so I'm going to stop this. This will be cool because we'll go back, we'll look at some of these as we make progress. Let's now go and work on the other side. Now I'm just going to stick same keyframes here in red. And first things first is I want to draw, there's the cat again, yowling away. I'm going to draw these shoulder positions on these frames. You can see, like I said, some of these barely moves. Wow, that cat, she's singing tonight. I hope you can hear it. It's really good. Oh, she's got a toy. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just switch this color. You can almost see that she sort of goes back to hitting some of these initial pose replacements. So we're going to try to make this also have a feeling of following an arc. And then we'll see how we do. Oh my goodness. I really hope you can hear it. Okay. All right, let's make it happen now. Okay, so she's crazy tonight. Okay. I'm actually going to lower this a bit here in this sort of like second frame of this. That'll help to hopefully build some more anticipation. Let's see. So here's our first part of this. Shoulder can dip a little bit more. Up now. Hit here. And let's see if we can get her to, she needs to settle. A little overlap. Or ease out. Now I'm also looking at this from our camera view, and I can always switch to perspective. I like to see, when looking at arcs and motions, I want to think about how does it look to the viewer when they watch it on screen. So this is a great spot where I can't see in this camera view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now look at it in the graph editor. Let's move some of these other things. And like I said, always, if you have a question, please feel free to ask. Let's change this to a stacked view. Where is this? 2 panes, stacked. I'm going to move this to be my graph editor. Hello, graph editor. Now you'll see in the graph editor, or at least I hope you can see in the graph editor, these lines are pretty thin. I think you can see. I'm looking at sort of my preview window here. You will see that these are all like stair steps, and that's because I'm working in stepped mode. So every time that's why in between these keyframes there's no movement. It's just nothing and then clicks next thing. Later I'll spline. So I'm going to look at my rotations here. And I was adjusting this control. Oops. Let's get our shoulder selected. Sorry. What is our rotate Z? And I put a fine. I now can look at how this steps to see sort of like how is this. In this frame where I can't see, I can just make that adjustment here to get a sense of like, well, how far should that be? Do I want it at the top of the previous frame? Do I want it at the bottom of the next frame? Or do I want it straight in the middle? How does it sort of fall? Put it sort of towards the next frame so that might even do this same sort of idea here. So you can see we make this big jump. We then have a little bit of a cushioned reaction to that. It's sort of similar in distance. Then before our next big frame, which is 2 frames later, this also is sort of soft into that frame. So she helps to sort of settle into that. Let's look at this section again. We'll do another play blast. Let's let that run for a second. Hey, I got a comment. Now's the perfect time for comments. And chronic, chronic. I think it's supposed to be chronic. Is saying, "What up?" Uh, just animating, man. All right, so here we are. I got the next play blast up, and let's play this through. Let's see what's happening here. So we just worked on this screen right shoulder. Now we're looking at the screen left. So let's loop it. So hopefully it's now starting to feel like the shoulders are driving the arms. The arms are then driving the wrists, and the hands are sort of now the last thing. Now obviously the hands are in more of a locked position. They haven't been animated yet, but hopefully it all feels like they're moving together as one piece. All right. Okay, we have a big jump here. I think I want to put some sort of middle frame in between there. I'm going to clear out this grease pencil. And let's put something in the middle here. So if we're looking at these two frames, right? So if I go directly in the middle, so let's count them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames before the next keyframe. So if 7 is what I have got, 1, 2, 3. That's not a, 3.5 would be perfect, but I'm not. I'm gonna stick to solid. You can do like half frames, but I'm not into that. So I'm going to, let's see, look at our poses now. And I like how there's a little bit more snap, so I'm going to stick at 3. I could go to 4, but I'm going to stick at 3 just so it's a little more weighted to the one side. And let's go to our perspective view in here. And if I go into, come on, change our views. Let's go to our 4 up here. We have a 4 up view. All right, and let's jump into our perspective view. So I want to look at, she's sort of at this table, right? She doesn't have a chair. I didn't bother modeling a chair. All right, so I'm going to first look at what's happening with her hips. So I've selected her hips now. And I'm using the GUI picker. I'm going to pull that off screen just so you can hopefully see everything else a little better. And I'm going to use my tween key tool, which just allows me to say, okay, if these are all the keyable elements in these boxes here, how do I want to set the frame for those elements for the hip? And using the tween key, I could say, okay, well, I could say 0, and it would place it exactly where it was in the previous frame, which you see no change. Or I could say 1, and it puts it exactly where it is in the next frame, which is a small movement. And I could say like a half, and put it directly in the middle. I want to feel like the hips are driving this motion. So I'm going to just say, I want the hips to be ahead of the rest of the body. I'm going to say 3/4. Right? And this is just to help me initially start sort of sketching out this pose. Oh, hey, thanks, man. Chronic says, I like your video about Earthquaker devices. It really makes me want to get the avalanche run. Yeah, I also want an avalanche run. This is great. I get to animate and talk about guitar gear. This is like a dream come true. Yeah, that's a great pedal. They just came out with this new like fuzz as well, which is everyone seems to have. Every store I go to has, but I haven't bothered playing with yet because I'm really set on fuzzes right now. I know in the video I was really jazzed about that terminal fuzz, but I sort of realized that I kind of needed to get something else more practical, so I haven't picked up that terminal fuzz that Earthquaker makes either. All right, so I'm going to look at the rest of her spine joints. These three. I'm going to set those to be back towards the previous frame. And I'm going to take her neck and her head. I'm going to really weight those towards the previous frame. So I want to keep some of that feeling of that snap. Her shoulders and her hands. I'm going to, let's see, what's happening with those? So going through my frames. Place them about halfway just for now, just to get a sense of spacing. We have this big jump here. Boom, there. And I like that, so we'll want to have this little bit of a settle there. It feels like it should be probably evenly spaced. All right, so let's jump into our render view of her talking here. And let's just see, I can look at the poses. I actually think I'm going to move her head to snap a little earlier here. So it's not as separate from the hands. And then we can settle a bit. Snap. So I was moving the spine earlier, but the head and neck actually still falling at the same point. Let's do a quick play blast on this motion. Yeah, I just to talk guitars for a second. I made a video recently about wanting to get another guitar and trying to figure out what type of gear I'm gonna do next. And I'm really looking at this baritone guitar that I really like. But I'm really trying to decide between that or actually just doing like a Line 6 Helix, so that I can have just like really easy plug and play recording. So let's see. Let's hear with the audio.
Just real quick, 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 just real quick.
Okay, so it's now too soft to me. So I was probably right initially to leave that more snappy. So let's play blast that again. See how this comes out now. Yeah, this baritone guitar I've been really into is made by Reverend, and no one here in the city in New York where I am carries it, and I've I've gone to probably like every guitar store that exists here. And there's one that does carry Reverend products. They don't have it in stock. So they actually are going to order one for me to come and try and play because they just need to make a general Reverend order. So we'll see. I'm hoping that when it arrives, I really love it because I'll feel really bad otherwise. Okay.
Just real quick. 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 Just real quick.
Okay. I think that's a little better. This obviously is a lot of polish will still have to happen. In fact, I might even drag her head a little bit here. There's the cat. The cat is singing an opera tonight. I hope you can hear it because it is quite a performance. Okay, so I'm just stepping through the frames, just looking at the neck. I know that probably it's sort of weird because you don't know what I'm totally doing, and I try to explain what's happening, but please, if you're confused by what I am doing, so that I'm going backwards, forwards. Okay. And then if we look at this shot, if I go back to my render camera, I don't have another pose for her until the end of this shot, 154. I mean, there's not another pose of her. This is the pose she's in. And the idea being that this is hopefully a solid pose for her to work. She says, just real quick, why no glass? She's referring to his glasses that he's wearing. Oh, heck, I did this stupid thing again. Ugh, I keep typing in the wrong field here. Sorry. And then I change the space here. Sorry, 56. And, oh God, 56. And 154. Okay. So let's look at some of the reference footage and see what are some of the other ideas that happened when I shot this. Why no glass? So I like that this finger comes up. So maybe she says the So let's put our audio on. Okay, so this point is really happening end of the shot. So she's going, just real quick, why no glass? Just real quick, why no glass? I don't think I'm going to do this first because I feel like this is a lot, and then she's going to just do this. for the point. And if I'm doing all this stuff in between, it's like her face should be telling a lot of this. That's my opinion. Okay, so I want to get this nice, expressive, pointy pose. This will be a fun one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to move this GUI picker off to the side. And okay. Well, let's go for it. I'm going to hit a save. I'm going to do a save. All right. Okay. All right, so just going to set a key here. Move this tween key off. Don't need that. Master fist. See, this hand's, as much as I like this rig, I'm not big on the cupping control. So I think I'm just going to do it with a fist and cupping. I think I'm just going to pose the fingers manually. So hands. So I believe my blue hand, right? Yeah. So first things first, just to make this a bit of a fist. Alright. If I turn her controls off. Are these keyed? I think so. No. There's a lot of these hand controls have not been keyed. This frame, so I'm just going to go and select all of these. Hit S to put in a keyframe. If you look in the graph editor here, you can see they're now keyed. Let's see. His hands pull out closer in. So I pull them in closer to my body, and I sort of hit this pose. So yeah. Oops. So I'll be sort of thinking about this in pretty different chunks as I go. I probably won't do as much talking now, so please jump in with questions if you're confused about what I'm doing. I'm just thinking a lot as I go, so it's a little hard to narrate all of that at the same time. I'm changing my rotation tools to be a local control. Gosh, she's got such thin fingers. Okay. So I'm just resetting some of this rotation. I'm just then starting to put in like these sort of rough hand poses here. Well, say thank you to everyone who's watching. I hope this is interesting to see this process. I do have to say I do live in a little bit of fear that there's some, really great and awesome experienced animator watching everything I do going, what? This is all horrendous. But, I figure when I was younger, this would have been something I would have really been into watching. And it gives me an additional reason and excuse to make a video like this, because I'm not just like animating for myself. I'm animating because, like, people like to check this stuff out. And it's been really fun to experiment with the live streams and to get to meet people online and have conversations and answer questions and share the knowledge I have with everyone else. Whoa, hello. And hopefully the end product is still proven to be interesting and worthwhile and fun to watch. Now the thumbs are always really fun. Let's move this off to the side for a second. Oh, hello. Let a little bit of this intersect because obviously it'll be out of camera and I just want to get the right pose. The next big thing is we're going to look at this in camera view and see, like, how is this looking ridiculous? Because a lot of times that's where I see it and I go, oh my goodness. From render view it looks horrendous. What is going on with this thumb? Let's reset this. Let's try just master curl here. I wanted to do this thing with the thumb. You can see in this hand the thumb is sort of over this finger here, right? And I liked that sort of sense of like you're I don't know. This to me feels more insecure than this. It's a really subtle thing, but hopefully I can sort of find a way to get away with it. We can look in this is the render camera view, and you can see that I think this is actually not too bad. You know, how's that sort of looking? Do want to tighten up this a little bit. Okay. I think I sort of liked how this looked before. That's why they make undo. Alright, so we'll leave this here for now. We'll fiddle with this more. Alright. Alright, I'm fiddling with it now. I can't stop. Okay. Let's look at our reference again. Just some of the things that were happening here. Alright, this will be fun. Alright, so... okay. Let's go and get this other hand. Let's do a save. Let's pick our other hand here. Because she has sort of long arms, I'm going to move these hands to be a little bit closer to her face. Because I want to be able to tuck the elbows. Come on, select this hand. I want to be able to move the elbows underneath her a bit. And if you look here in this camera view, you can see that like it's going through the table. A couple ways I can address that, and this is obviously her body pose needs to be adjusted, but her shoulders will play a big part in that. I'm pulling them up and back. I'm actually putting this one forward because she's going to point, so that shoulder would drive that motion, hopefully. And then let's look at this twist. It's like I don't want to have to put it way out here. I want that elbow to be underneath. So, oops, hello. For it to feel more insecure. It's a closed body position. This is probably something that'll be resolved with either her spine can rotate her back a little bit. And then this gives me room for her arms. It's a little bit experimenting here. We'll see how this pose works or not. So now I should have room for her arms. And then, so as her spine moves back, we counter that by having her, sorry, as her hips move back, her torso can come in, which is probably what she wants to do anyways, because she's pointing. And that allows me to make the room for the arm. Now I'm trying to keep this, I would like this a little bit in front of the torso, or the orange of her shirt, I should say, so that I can have a little contrasting like color for when she points in this pose. We'll see how well this works. Probably be adjusted like 1,000 times more as I try to figure this out. Any questions for anyone? Please jump in. All right, let's do her hands. So I'm on this red gooey picker. I'm going to pull this off to the side so that it's not taking up screen space. All right. And let's select these hand controls. So I'm going down this list of all the hand controllers, which of course I've pulled this off screen, so you can't really see what I'm doing, but trust me, it's not super exciting. I'm just going around clicking all the red buttons. I'm going to press the S key to set a key command, drink a sip of water. Sorry, to set a keyframe. And hello. All right. Now I'm going to pose this out a bit. So look at the reference. And you can see, I think this is sort of a good example of like, sometimes people ask, what's the difference between like shooting reference footage and maybe like rotoscoping or something? And I think what you see here is I'm looking at the reference to pull ideas for poses and so forth. Why is this not selecting? But to rotoscope this would just be to strictly trace the camera footage, and I'm not doing that. is not. I'm trying to select this other joint here. Oh, it's because I am selecting the... Sorry, I'm an idiot. I love these little these little palm controls. Help sort of get the knuckles where you want them to be. These are great. Super, super helpful. Oh, hello. 1 second. I'm going to move this like that for a second. All right. Get a little pop-up notification to tell me that my anniversary is coming up. Hey, Aaron, no questions. Just thanks for streaming. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Okay. So, I'm just trying to pose this handout, and I think one of the things that's immediately really recognizable is you can see the length of this Aya's character's fingers versus sort of like what I have in the reference footage makes this type of pose really a bit clunky. And so we'll have to try to figure out how best to sort of work to get the spirit of the reference footage to work with the actual character. And this will probably be not the most beautiful poses at first, just as to trying to figure this out, and then continue to clean up and refine that and see how to get a little bit closer. But you can hopefully this idea of this is starting to come together. This pose. Wrong finger. There we go. You can see. Oh man. If anyone's curious about how to get these rigs or you want to play with them, I have these because I went to Animation Mentor, which was like an animation school, and they were just they were provided as part of the curriculum, and then as an alumni of that school, I still have access to them, basically, so I can continue to make shots, update a demo reel, and do fun stuff, as long stuff like that. And then, but I think you can purchase them from animationrigs.com, and some of these tools as well, like the GUI picker tool, which you see here, and whatnot. This grease pencil tool, which I'm not sure if everyone saw earlier when I was using it earlier, that comes with Maya, so that you don't need to buy, which is great because it's super useful. I'm going to leave this rough for now. There's definitely some intersection issues. But I think the basic idea of that pose is starting to come together. Oh, I got to do her thumb. These thumbs are always just tough. To get right. This is where you really, I don't know, I always struggle with them a little bit. Okay. Let's do a quick save. So Aaron, are you studying animation? Are you an animator? Are you want to go to school for it? Are you just really bored and trying to fall asleep and you thought maybe this would help? I'd love to know sort of what brings you to watch, because that's always really helpful for me to know what people are into, so I can try to tailor content for people in the future. So looking at this thumb here. So there's a big cluster of fingers here, but I'm sort of okay with this being a big mess of fingers, provided that the, I think this thumb I'm going to try to make it a little more subtle, provided that the gist of the shot is legible, you know. Like the main thing is the point. Oh, cool. You just started Animation Mentor's Maya workshop. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Animation Mentor is great. You will learn tons of stuff there. I don't know if you were here earlier when I was saying that I had I went to school. Come on, select this rig for animation. So I have like a standard old college degree, and that was great. And I definitely don't want to downplay that. But boy, you learn a lot in Animation Mentor. That is a great program, and if you're having the chance to participate in that, that's really fantastic. So yeah. Oh, you're gonna do the character animation in summer. You're gonna love it, man. Um, yeah, I graduated from there a while ago now. I don't know, maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. That I did both the character and then I did the creature animation programs there, and um, I got a job elsewhere in entertainment, let's say, sorts. So that's sort of, and I made a short film which you can find on my channel if you want. It's called This Is a Ball, and there should be a link to that I think in the description. Yeah. So and yeah, like AM was great, and it actually led to me like definitely helping me further my uh, just career and all that stuff. So, and so then I decided I wanted to after I finished my short film, I wanted to do more animation, because I hadn't done anything in a little while, because I took some time away. So that's why I started doing these live streams of just animating. So I was thinking, like, before I started Animation Mentor, or before I started like going to school for it, I would have loved to have watched other people work and talked to them and stuff. Oh yeah, so I'll just say this for the replay, in case anyone, because I don't think you can see the comments there. So okay, so Aaron's going to go into the summer program, and then he says he used to room with an animator who he got to watch work for a while and get some valuable stuff from hanging out with them. Super true. Watching other people work is so helpful, just in general. I've done a lot of work as like a video editor, and working with other video editors like side by side, or like sitting in the edit bay with them. I learned so much just from that. Um, Sometimes just key commands. And then he says, there's an animator from Valve who I used to watch talks from, and he had some crazy good insight into how to be a better animator, how to grow with sketching, studying, motion, etc. Completely agree. The more life drawing you can do, the more sketching you can do, the better. Absolutely agree on that. Yeah, the more you can like spend time um, drawing, copying animation is really great. Like if you can find the free time to take like an old, I don't know, some old even Warner Brothers cartoon or Disney cartoon or just any cartoon that has decent animation, even uh, 3D stuff or Wallace and Gromit or stop motion, and try to like draw and copy that and figure out what was the timing, what was the spacing on that. That's amazing. I wish I had more time to do stuff like that. Um, but I like I said, I work full, I work. I have a full time job, and um, I'm a parent and a husband, so um, it definitely you sort of lose sometimes the all the free time you have. So if you can do it now, do it now. Oh yeah, if you did video editing, you're gonna enjoy animating because it's a lot of the same sort of like mental temperament of like, hey, I'm gonna sit in a room in the dark, um, and look at stuff frame by frame by frame by frame by frame. Um, yeah, it's the right temperament for that. Um, so yeah. All right, so let's look at these poses. So she'll sit, and the hands will move. They do that nice arc we talked about, and then now we have this big gap, and then she hits this big point, right? Now we looked at adjusting her shoulders, her spine, her hips, but haven't repositioned her head, so I'm going to do that now. Let's look at sort of what some of the, there's this little head turn I sort of did. Because she's recognizing Wino glass. Where's Jules? I'm going to turn on the Jules rig for a second just to have a sense of where she's looking. Okay. And I'm going to start with her neck controls. Yeah, if you like Nintendo's animation, game animation, anything that you like. I remember when the game Jack and Daxter came out. I'm dating myself a little bit now, but when that game came out, it was like a huge leap in sort of like video game character animation. It was like, whoa. And I used to think like, what a great change that was. And I used to just love watching like not just the cutscenes, but even just the like just general character movements. So I'm going to give her a little offset here in the spine because to help her indicate that that part of her body is driving her shoulder and her point. That's a little dramatic. Let me change this view. I'll give her a little twist, just a tiny bit. Pull this down a bit. Cool. Let's go to her face. Let's find this eye control. Just some sense that she's actually looking at him. I'll have to obviously do a face pass, but okay. Alright, so I'm going to do a little save. We'll do a little play blast here. And get a sense of just sort of how the scene plays a little bit. And so now is a great time to read Aaron's comment and to respond. So Aaron says, Jack and Daxter. Now there's a game with stretchy characters. Yeah. Yeah. They really did some nice cartoony stuff and really good poses. And I think one of the things with the animation mentor program, obviously it's character animation. Like you're learning to put character into inanimate objects, and you'll do little things like you'll do a heavy ball and a light ball animation, um, and those are sort of mechanics, right? You'll do a swinging pendulum to learn about overlap. Um, you'll do just some basic mechanics, learn to use the tools from the very beginning, but like by the end, you are making a character without arms, cross a ledge, then have to get from one gap to another or something. And it's like, well, how do they do that? Do they just step across? Or do they, you know, tiptoe? Do they jump? Like, are they scared? Are they confident? You have so much influence over how that character reacts. And that's really the fun thing, is like just putting the character in there. All right, so I'm going to let this play. This is muted. There's going to be a long pause. Then there's the point, right? So obviously we're still in sort of our blocking phase, or blocking plus. This was our big pose that we added at the end here. And this thing we'll have to add with the hands, where she sort of does this little tiny clap. Obviously the face is just the one locked master pose right now. Okay, let's hear it with the audio. Once again, you're just sort of hearing the computer speakers through this microphone. Hi everyone. So hopefully you can sort of hear the audio.
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
Okay, so
Just real quick, can I ask why no glass? Just real quick, can I ask why no glass?
okay, so the point, where's that falling timeline wise? It probably looks late, and it probably is, but I'm thinking this is more like the settle of this pose. She's going to need to hit this pose and sort of land here. And so when she says her big line, so around 143 here, she says the G in glass. That's where I'm going to have the and I don't want to hit the beat dead on, but that's where it's going to be the more exaggerated pose, and then she's going to settle into this, right? Turn off Jules. And let me go to Aya's body. And I think here, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to jump into doing this exaggerated pose or if I should save it. So I do this now, I'm looking to really dedicate a lot of time. It's after 1 a.m. So if you're watching the replay tomorrow or years from now, know that I was very tired the next day when I went to work. All right, I'm going to say goodnight for now. I'm going to save this next big part so we have a really good jumping in point for the next live stream. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to Aaron. Good luck, man. And actually, you know what? I'm going to say this. Aaron, when you have your next assignment, you should, if you're not already posting stuff on YouTube just to for fun, because why not? Send me a link. Go find my YouTube, send me a message, or find this video, leave a comment, and send me a link. I'd love to see what you're doing, and if you want feedback, I can give you feedback. If you don't, you know, I'll just let you chill, man. But yeah, I just think it's really fun. Like, this is the great thing about the internet and about social media is we can be social and we can be positive. So yeah, don't be afraid to send me a link to any of your assignments, and that goes for anyone who's watching this video. If you've got animation assignments you're working on, or a short film, or whatever, send it over because I'd love to see, and I'd love to give some feedback. All right, so it is now 1:20 a.m. I should get to bed. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And you can also visit me on Patreon, crowdfunding for creatives. And if you want to support me there, that is cool too. And that'd be awesome. And thank you, huge thank you to everyone who's already done so. It's helped me upgrade this camera setup and do all those other little things. All right, so till next time, everyone have a wonderful night. All right, cool.